Welcome to the wonderful spiritual world of relaxation, psychic growth, and spiritual awareness. I'm Pete Jefferson. There are a couple of things you might like to do before we get into the video to help you take full advantage of the program. First is to go to your personal possessions and pick out some object that you may have owned for a while or that has been in your family or was given to you by someone you've had an attachment to in the past. If you have friends there with you, please don't show each other the objects. The second thing is, if you already haven't done it, see if you can gather up 3 or 4 friends who would like to participate in an unusual experiment and ask them to come over and bring some small personal object chosen by the rules stated earlier and not show it to anyone. And don't forget the pencils and paper. If you are not working with a group yet, you could maybe find an object that belongs to or belong to someone else to go along with the experiment in psychometry we're going to perform later in the program. We tend to use the words psychic power casually in books and conversations, and I might add videos, because the culture in which we have brought up associates psychic ability with power. In reality, it's just another ability such as sight. As a matter of fact, sight is a different kind. Everyone has different levels of sight. I do not claim to be, nor have I ever claimed to be psychic, yet there have been some exciting flashes come my way over the years. The wonderful people I have been associated with in the past have demonstrated some real abilities at times. Now, just so you might have some idea as to why this interest has been so strong, I would like to give you a few examples of the events of which I've been a part of over the years. I've been present when the dead spoke to someone in a room. I've been present on a number of occasions when people experienced other lives, and that includes me. I have a tape of a spirit speaking through a young lady. Her home was being haunted, and the spirit informed us that he was murdered on or near the property over 100 years ago. I've been on a cosmic journey of which we will talk later. I have seen a UFO. I have seen the Mako light in Mako, North Carolina, which is supposedly old Joe Baldwin looking for his head after being decapitated by a train in the 1860s. I have been present at a good old-fashioned table tipping session. I was present during my mother's terminal illness when she had a couple of brushes with the hereafter before she was ready to go. I have performed successful ESP experiments on more occasions than I can remember. I've had small glimpses of the future. I am also past president of the Indiana Society for Ethical Hypnotists, and at one time many years ago knew a little about hypnosis. There is more, but as you can see, it's been a wonderfully interesting life. One other point to make about these experiences is no one involved with any of them was ever considered anything but a hobbyist. Most of us spent a good deal of our discretionary income on maintaining the group, and with a few exceptions of someone teaching a meditation or weight loss or stop smoking class, very little money was ever generated. There are a number of names for different psychic abilities. I have my favorite and you have yours. There are things I may speak of that will offend some of your religious beliefs, so I will apologize up front for any offense you may feel. Most people involved in the search for spiritual truth have strong beliefs in God. On the other hand, some people have very strong beliefs in God often condemn those of us who search for truth along our own path. Today you're going to hear about an experiment with my views on a very narrow aspect of psychic ability called psychometry. That is, to divine information from an object by holding it. That will in no way diminish what you believe, as there seems to be many truths in human existence. A few years ago, I decided to put as many of my life experiences as I could remember in a book form and write the great American novel. That didn't work out quite like that, but one of the more interesting events to come out of the project was letters received from people who responded to a small ad placed in newspapers around the state. In that ad, I asked people to write to me about their experiences with religion, near-death experiences, UFOs, precognition, and just about anything along those lines. One of the first letters received was from a lady who took me to task for believing in such nonsense. She went on to tell me about her experience with fortune-telling and the terrible books that were in her town's library and how New Age beliefs were going to send people to hell. Then she went on to tell this wonderful story about how she was saved from her wrong beliefs by a visit from Jesus one night. He came to her in a vision and told her to hold on to the beliefs she had held since childhood and to let go of the new things cluttering her mind. She went on for a page or two with this story before signing off. Unfortunately, she didn't sign her name or address, so I couldn't thank her for her story. You see, everything that happened to her was a wonderful religious experience. Whether we agree with her views or not doesn't matter. She had a kind of vision that so many of us have had and didn't realize that it was the kind of vision she was condemning. One of the most fascinating subjects that you may wish to try can be done at your own pace and in your own home, and that's OBEs. That's out-of-body experience for those of you new to the subject. How many of you have had an experience where you felt like you were somewhere else for a few moments? You could see some place or someone. You know you're there, yet you can't make contact with the other party. Quite often it happens just prior to waking up in the morning, and you just sort of brush it off as a dream. Sound familiar? You could swear it's more than a dream, but you're never quite sure. That very likely was an honest-to-God OBE. Get in the habit of writing these experiences on a pad that you keep next to your bed. I have found over the years that people seem to be able to bring experiences to the fore of their consciousness when they have worked at it for a while. If you've been watching the news, you've heard that the CIA has spent about $20 million over the past 20 years studying something called remote viewing, and people are making fun of this so-called waste of money. To me, it was not a waste. $20 million to the CIA is just a drop in the bucket, especially over 20 years. And they know something is there, or the experiments would have stopped 19 years ago. I doubt they have stopped now. OBEs don't require the presence of another party. It is a pure spiritual journey taken by the Spirit. About 30 years ago, a group I belonged to worked on many different techniques of psychic experiences, but one of my favorites was the one for OBEs. As often as we could, we would practice with varying results. The only memorable experience I had was when I left my body and started on a journey through the solar system. Everything was so clear, rising slowly at first from my body and then above the earth and outwards. The background stars were as real as anything in my life. Within minutes I was passing what might be called in cosmic terms spitting distance of Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, and the view was growing larger as the field of view was changing from one to complete overview of the cosmos. The speed and beauty of the journey was beyond all imagination, and I have a great imagination. Before I could reach the outer planets, the realization came that if I didn't stop right then, I would never come back. At that instant, there was a reversal of direction and an extremely funny thump as I re-entered my body. Although I have thought many times about trying again to achieve the same experience, feeling that I might be able to control what's happening, there is a deep restraint keeping it from happening. I may not have gone anywhere. I may have gone out into a small portion of the universe. I may have died for a short time. Whatever it was moving and wonderful, and one of those few experiences in our lives that we never forget, knowing that we may never walk that way again. You can do this with yourself, by yourself, if you desire, without going into a less known deep self-relaxation. Just stretch out where it is quiet and where you won't be disturbed for a while. Relax deeply and get a mind set on where you would like to go. Focus on it with all your concentration. You may be surprised. My next journey, if I can overcome the barriers, would be to the Cydonia area of Mars. If you're interested, why, go to your local bookstore and have them order the book by Richard C. Hoagland called Monuments of Mars. I'll leave it at that. Let's move on to other psychic matters. Those of us who have had an occasional glimpse of the future or an insight into something we are not a part of, or just know what someone is thinking, know that there is more to the human spirit than just be heard, touched, or seen. Skeptics often point to the uncovered fraud in the psychic field as justification for believing that all psychic phenomena are faked. That's like pointing to all humans as crooks because one person is a crook. The logic doesn't work. If you watch TV shows about flying saucers, you notice that they mix really good UFO shots with those obviously hanging on a string. They will talk to one or two good psychics and then throw in a couple that are faked. No one tries to sort the real from the fake. It's hard for people to make a fair judgment. Those who haven't felt the all-powerful presence of the universal consciousness cannot begin to imagine or understand the impact of the consciousness on anyone. Try to tell a person who has been blind from birth what it is like to be able to see. Try to imagine what it would be like to be blind and suddenly be able to see. Words would be hard to find. There are those who feel the power and cloak it in religious ceremony, making up all sorts of rules about how we dress or get dunked in water or how much money we give. Did you ever wonder why the all-powerful, the creator of the universe, the Lord of all things, and the great miracle worker would have any use for money? Standing on a corner, psst, hey friend, can you spare $1? Would he really care if we drive cars or use computers? Would it really matter in the great cosmic scheme of things if we sprinkle water rather than get dunked completely when being baptized? Our belief is a truly religious person, whatever he or she believes, feels the power of the universe, or God if you prefer, through that mysterious and unnamed sense in the deeper levels of consciousness, and interprets it to fit the physical world they see around them with the known senses. They create the rituals of religion to give some structure they can understand to the feelings they can't understand. The high priest of some religions condemn any sort of excursions into truly higher thinking as work of evil. We're not sure if they do that because they don't know what the greater consciousness is, or they know they will lose followers when the followers find the true spiritual consciousness and begins to look for other answers. Eastern religions tend to be more open to spiritual explorations and encourage searching for other and higher truths. Skepticism is the key word when someone offers you salvation if you just give them money and move with them to a far-off retreat where you will be enlightened with their version of the Word. When someone tells you, God spoke to me and He wants you to give me all your money, put the Nikes on and run, don't walk to the nearest exit. People who have little spiritual value that you may be looking for. You can speak to the power of the universe if you just spend a little time learning some basic techniques that we will go into later. We're all born with abilities that transcend the physical world. We just don't use them. If it isn't something you can put a measurement on so we don't exercise it as we do muscles. Children are the most sensitive to outside feelings and know when someone really cares or is putting a face on to look good. And Bessie looking down and saying, "My, what a beautiful child," and thinking to herself, "My, he's the ugliest baby I've ever seen." Child may not hear the words but see the images in Aunt Bessie's mind and just tune out the thoughts because they are uncomfortable to them. As time goes on and no training is given to control the young person's receiver, the mind will close the doors one at a time until not much of the ability is left. As we grow older and regain interest in the spiritual things, we may open a few of the doors just far enough to know that something wonderful is there, and although we will never regain the abilities of youth, we may have more wisdom to handle and what little we do see. We can recover some of the strength of our receivers by using simple tactics and practicing often and believing in our goals. Belief comes not necessarily from a conscious knowing that you are psychic or spiritual or any such thing, but that the belief comes from within, from the deeper part of self that can feel the power, and at some point in life surfaces as your mind is a curiosity about the subject. Sometimes we think the skeptics out there feel the power and have slammed the door on it to the point that they want to suppress any feelings or knowledge about it out of fear of the unknown. They also don't want you to have this special knowledge, so they poo-poo the idea that anyone can have abilities beyond what the normal senses can perceive. People have been hung up for witches for believing in things other than what the established church would have you believe. Once you have decided to believe in higher power, you must learn to find quiet. Yes, quiet. Pay attention to your life. Beginning with waking up in the morning. First comes the clock radio to wake you up. Then a little music or talk radio to get you going. Head for the coffee pot and settle down for a little of the morning talk show. Climbing into your car and drive to work probably involves more than turning on the radio again and being entertained for another 20 minutes or so. At work, you'll have conversations all day long with coworkers so you can do the job. On the way home, the radio entertains again, as does the TV after you arrive. Even if you jog during the day, there's a good chance you have that MP3 player hooked into your belt and a headset on so you can hear the music. By the time your head hits the pillow in the evening, you have been bombarded with stimuli for probably 12 to 14 hours without many breaks. That doesn't leave much time to think about spiritual matters, does it? Delving into the cosmic matters requires a different sort of stimulus than Rambo. We have become a nation of noise, any kind of noise all the time. When what we really need is a daily dose of quiet to allow the mind to focus on something more than where the next month's house payment is coming from. Quiet, relaxing time allows the inner self to become attuned to a different type of noise, the energy waves of all living things. I believe there is an underlying web of consciousness, maybe the superconsciousness or the famous collective unconscious engulfing us all, that allows us to tune into certain events or people and become part of the past, present, or future of the event or person. The web can tie us closer to someone in China than to our next door neighbor. It sometimes can show us what will happen next year with more clarity than what will happen in the next half hour. The strength of the tentacle binding us to the web varies throughout our lives as our interest in spiritual matters waxes and wanes. Picture in your mind's eye a map of the world and cast a spiritual web over it. Picture wispy strands of various thicknesses spreading out and touching everything like strands of smoke. Well, not everything. That would make it too thick for our purposes here. Now let a tentacle reach down to you and it will bond you forever. You can now reach out and touch someone in a different sort of way, like a crazy patchwork road map. Some places are easier to reach than others. Some people are easier to reach than others, and some times are easier to reach than others. We talk about this special psychic ability most often as a receiver, but equal time should be given to the transmitter. The web carries all kinds of signals that originate from all things, much as the internet carries signals all over the world. There are senders and there are receivers. It's a two-way street. Each time you see or hear the word receiver, the word transmitter should pop into your mind. Let the non-believers of the world have their computer-dedicated information highway. We have the cosmic information superhighway. We just don't always know where the information coming from or what it means, and misinterpretations occur more often than not. Not much different than the regular internet. And if you try sending information out over the web, you do not know what effect it will have, because more than likely you don't know where it's gone. But it's a lot more exciting to be on the edge. Each individual will have bonds of different strength at different parts of the web. Family bonds are probably the strongest. Then comes people we have interacted with during our lives. Somewhere in the mix would be people and events we have no conscious knowledge of, but are tuned to us in some cosmic way. That would be how we can see events and times to which we have no known connection. We relate to some things better than others. So some people can meet and feel an instant bond to each other. How many people have you met in your life that seem like old friends at once? On the other hand, how many people have you met in your life that immediately turned you off, so to speak? They seem to be on a different wavelength, and you have almost hostile feelings toward them without any idea why. How many times have you been thinking of someone you haven't seen in a while, maybe years, and suddenly that person returns to your life in some way? A few years ago, a friend of 20 years disappeared from our lives without warning. No one knew where he went. After a while, we sort of put him out of our conscious memory. We had a cookout in late June and some other friends, and during the course of the day we talked about old friends and this old friend. It was the first time in those years that our group had been together except on the phone, and there was something special about the feeling we had as we visited. 2 days later, the friend who had disappeared called on the phone out of the blue and asked if he could visit over the 4th of July holiday. He had simply moved out of state to get himself together and chose that time for reasons he couldn't explain to reestablish contact. We had a nice visit catching up on things and have been in touch since. Times like that reinforce the belief that the web or something like it exists, and message went out on the strength of the bond that we created over the years. But part of that bond applies to items we touch and hold over time. We leave impressions of some kind on items that can be read like a tape in a tape recorder. We hold these items in our hand and feel the emotions or visions that have been impressed there. The bond travels with us or stays attached somehow, even in death. That's how psychics can help solve police crimes. You'll notice whenever a story on how psychics work, they almost always want to hold something that belongs to the victim. I'm not sure how it works, but it does. Recently on the Discovery Channel, there was a story about an archaeologist who was also a scientist of some sort, who has done some research on items dug up at ancient sites to see if he could recover sound impressions that may have been recorded on the urns and walls and pots and other things used by the people who inhabited the site. That set off alarms for me, as it is the same thing I've been talking about for years. We leave impressions on things we own. Unfortunately, I'm sure if you asked that gentleman about psychic or emotional impressions, he would poo-poo the idea. It's too bad. We can hold items belonging to one person and see different parts of their lives, past, present, and future, while missing out completely on other people. It is much like a tape recorder reading information that's been impressed on a tape. Before we work on an experiment, let's talk a few minutes about the wonderful world of relaxation that we're headed for today. Once you're relaxed and spiritual awareness seems to overtake you, and it opens a channel to the psychic or spiritual world. When I try to imagine the psychic world, I get above the world and see the wispy web and its threads reaching out to everyone and everything. We communicate at times through the web, but mostly we don't listen, or we ignore it because we just don't understand what it is. I've talked to people about people not listening anymore. Lack of noise seems to be an unacceptable condition in today's world. People don't even walk to enjoy the beauty of the world anymore. Everyone has headphones because they can't stand the quiet. Which brings us back to the web and the fact that the world and universal consciousness are all connected. Under the right conditions, we can hear its message. Most people call it God for lack of another name, but misunderstand its purpose. We connect with people across the web, and it's stronger with some than others. Unless you have studied the techniques of relaxation or meditation at some time in your life, you really can't know these feelings, although most people have had fleeting moments of spiritual bliss at various points of their lives. We humans have lived with tension as part of living in a changing world since the beginning of time. Tension drives us to do some spectacular things at times. It can also put us in a nut house or the grave. And we must have balance to achieve a successful life. Enough tension to thrive, and enough relaxation to give the body and mind a chance to heal. Too good a life in a tension-free world, and we would never have left the cave or come down out of the trees. Just a thought. What did people do before they figured out horses were for riding and not eating? Living in a cave. Can't run as fast as most of the prey they like to eat, or the predators they need to get away from. Struggling for survival and probably competing against some pretty formidable opponents for whatever they considered their space in the world. Man needed some quantum leap to put him ahead of other competitors. Something on a par with putting a man on the moon. Something to impress the girls with. Okay, so the guy who figured out how to ride a horse wasn't thinking about man's next leap in evolution. It was probably some young cave boy who looked over to the next cave one day and saw some pretty girl and wanted to do something to impress her. He looked around and saw his dinner eating grass nearby and took a leap on to the back of the horse to show off. His mom would probably be standing at the cave entrance yelling at him to get off that thing before he got hurt. His dad would be yelling at him not to play with his food. The young girl he was trying to impress was thinking that he was a dork for riding his food. But history was in the making, and I would love to have a time machine to watch it happen. Taking to the horse would almost have to be right up there with tool making and fire, and it doesn't get a lot of press. However, it does have a lot to do with our subject here. Anyway, that doesn't have a lot to do with our subject here. I just thought it would be an interesting idea to pursue for a moment. Excess tension seems to block the ability to think as clearly as we would like. You get this mental tension building up alongside the physical tension, and all you can do is think about how tense you are, why such and such caused so much tension. Even when you believe you're blocking the tension, they are there and draining your body of life. You can funnel this tension in healthy ways to succeed at your work or play. People become driven to finish projects and they are consumed by it. When it's over, they will talk about being drained, and they are. They need for the body to recover its strength and balance so they can take a day or a week off and push the tension away. Stretch out in the easy chair, watch a movie, play tennis or golf, anything to relax both mentally and physically. Carrying a lifetime of tension around without release makes for a miserable existence. But enough of that. You probably know why you need to relax. I learned to use relaxation way back in the 60s. I used it to help with sleep learning and psychic experiments of various types. My need to relax and show others how to relax all revolves around spiritual and psychic matters. The fact that it helped me in all other phases of life is sort of a secondary benefit. Once you learn to relax properly, the other stuff will take care of itself. Over the years, I've used relaxation to help going to sleep at night or listen to my favorite relaxation tape to unwind during the day. It's a great way to program yourself to come up with new creative ideas. When you have learned to relax on cue, you will find you can undertake small mental projects, such as telling yourself that you will have creative ideas when you awaken. You may take one difficult problem with you to deep relaxation and ask for a solution. Try not to take but one. Problems seem to rattle around for a while, perhaps a week or just a few hours, but at some point when you aren't thinking about it or totally engrossed in something unrelated, a light will come on in the attic and solutions will spring out of the depths of your inner being. Nothing compares with a journey deep inside the inner mind on a quest for peace, healing, and understanding. Controlled relaxation that is a process that will begin relaxing the tips of your toes and working your way up to the various parts of the body until you've reached the top of your head. Do it slowly, and somewhere along the relaxation process you will be concentrating so hard on relaxing the body that your mind will just follow along and take you on a most heavenly journey. You need positive suggestions and reinforcement along the way. You want to feel good and have good thoughts in your life. You want to grow spiritually and gain a greater understanding of life. So in that vein, we're pretty much like other folks. However, we like our approach a little better, and it will be a unique advantage for you. We will give you, we will relax you and give positive suggestions. Getting the hang of relaxing may take a few tries, but soon you will be able to stretch out and go off into other realms at will. We don't want any surprises, so I'd like to describe what steps we're going to take on our journey. We will begin at your toes and work your way through your feet, legs, thighs, stomach, chest, neck, face, and head. By the time we get to the chest, you will be very relaxed. Some folks take a little nap, others stay with us through the whole trip. If you stay with us, you may feel a small disconnection from the body and become a being of pure thought. As you relax, you may feel like your body is expanding and you're so light that you lift off the bed or chair that you're reclined in. When we get to body relaxed, we're going to take a journey up the stairway to higher consciousness. The trip up the stairway is one of the more pleasant parts of our journey. At some point, we will stop at a resting place and make a movie screen for us to look at. On that screen, you will see pictures associated with the objects you are holding. It will be a series of events. You will remember all of this when you come back down the stairs. It is possible that some energy being will join you at the resting place to help with your project. I'm not sure what the being is that joins us on occasion on the journey, but have suspicions that it is the conduit between the outer or conscious self and the older, deeper spiritual self that has contact with the universal consciousness. It is a wise and psychic and spiritual all at the same time. It's like a buffer to filter thoughts so both sides understand what is happening. Also, before we begin, turn the volume down on your device you're watching this on or listening to it, as generally hearing becomes enhanced as you're relaxed. If you have a fan of some kind, turn it on to provide a very low background or white noise to drown out outside noises. Go ahead and hit the pause button for a second. I'm not going anywhere. Now, if you and your friends are ready for some fun, place your personal objects in a box or hat and trade items without giving away which item you received, if possible. Let us begin. Welcome to the wonderful world of relaxation. We're going to take a journey now and explore that part of you you've never felt before. It is a pleasant journey that will release all the pent-up stress that has been bothering you for some time. You may start now by finding that comfortable position on your sofa or easy chair or on your bed. It is so easy to concentrate on my voice. Now close your eyes and leave those stressful thoughts behind as you concentrate on my voice. We're going to have a wonderful visit with the inner self. The light of relaxation will come from within and fill every fiber of your being with peace. You will find your breathing has become easier and easier as you begin to relax. That's right. Your entire body is beginning to relax completely. You feel every muscle and every nerve relaxing more and more with every breath you take. A wonderful sinking, soft feeling is entering your body, starting at the tips of your toes, and the tips of your toes are relaxed. And you feel this feeling move through your feet, and your feet are relaxed. Now you feel this wonderful feeling of relaxation Move through your ankles and into the calves of your legs. And the calves of your legs are relaxed. Every muscle and nerve in the calves of your legs are relaxed. And concentrate on relaxing every muscle and nerves in the calves of your legs as you feel this feeling of relaxation. Move through your knees and into your thighs, and your thighs are completely relaxed. Make the thighs relax, every muscle, nerve, your thighs relaxed completely. Now feel your hips relax. Feel every muscle and nerve in your hips relax completely. Your hips are so very relaxed and comfortable. Now this warm, soft, soothing feeling enters your stomach. Make every muscle and nerve in your stomach relax completely. Make your stomach relax. Feel all the tension and tightness in your stomach leave you. There is no tension. There is no tightness in your stomach. All the muscles are relaxed. So very, very relaxed. Now feel the chest relax. With every breath you take, your breathing becomes easier and easier. Every muscle and nerve in your chest is relaxed completely. So very relaxed and very comfortable. You have no cares, you have no worries. You're in that wonderful, beautiful, soothing land of relaxation. And you hear every word I speak, and you go deeper and deeper. Now feel this feeling of relaxation enter your shoulders. Feel your shoulders relax. Make every muscle and nerve in your shoulders relax. As you feel this feeling of relaxation enter your arms, and feel all the muscles in your upper arms, forearms, and hands and fingers relax completely. Your arms are so heavy with relaxation, so very, very heavy with relaxation. As you feel this feeling move through your body and you feel the warm glow of healing power cover you and begin healing any problems your body may have. The glow is like a soft golden blanket and covers you with its power. Now feel this feeling of relaxation move into your back and feel every muscle and nerve in your back relax completely. This feeling of relaxation moves slowly throughout your back and you feel every muscle relax. Complete relaxation engulfs you. Your neck is so very relaxed. Complete relaxation in every muscle and nerve in your neck. Make your neck relax and feel this feeling of relaxation move into your face. Feel every muscle and every nerve in your cheeks and around your mouth and chin relax completely. Feel your face, feel your forehead relax. The lines of tension leaving your forehead as you relax completely. And your eyelids are so very heavy with relaxation, so very heavy and completely relaxed. Even your scalp is relaxed, and every muscle and nerve from the top of your head to the tips of your toes are relaxed completely. You will continue to go deeper and deeper into relaxation with every breath you take and every word I speak. Now go down, down, deeper and deeper. Now you are relaxed completely, and I want you to imagine in your mind's eye that you are standing at the foot of a beautiful golden stairway leading upward to infinity. Go ahead and picture this in your mind's eye. A beautiful stairway. As I count from 1 to 10, you will climb this stairway to total self-awareness. This beautiful stairway leads up forever. We're going to go up the first 10 levels or steps. With each count, you will go higher and higher and become more and more relaxed. Begin climbing this beautiful stairway. 2, such a beautiful trip, so wonderful and so soothing. 3, you feel so wonderful climbing the stairway, feeling your awareness growing stronger and more sensitive with each step that you take. 4, climbing higher, enjoying this beautiful, beautiful trip. Positive, loving peace around you. 5, as you look out over the edge, you can see all the creation, and you feel so wonderful. 6, such a soothing feeling as you climb. So beautiful. Climbing up, up. We're going to stop soon, and you'll enjoy this trip so immensely. Almost to the top now. A wonderful, soft glow of relaxation covers you like a blanket, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. 10, all the way up, such a beautiful, wonderful feeling. Now you're on the balcony overlooking all creation. In the distance you see a movie screen moving toward you until it fills the space in front of you. You are at peace and you feel a warm, loving, healing presence on the balcony with you. You can ask questions of the presence and you will receive answers. Very comfortable, loving, and healing feeling overcomes you. I will leave you alone for a while to talk to the presence about the object you have carried with you. Pictures and scenes from the objects you are holding will appear on the screen, and you will remember all you see. Then you will hear, understand, and respond to my voice. See and feel the objects held, and you will remember what you see. Now sleep deeper and deeper. Now you hear and understand my voice and are ready now to walk back down the stairway. You have learned to relax very deeply, and this ability will stay with you always. It's such a wonderful feeling, and you enjoy it so very, very much. It's very pleasant, very wonderful feeling. You will look forward to this experience again and again, many times. You will be able to relax so very deeply anytime you wish. As I count from 10 to 1, you will walk back down the stairway. With each count, you will feel stronger and stronger in your will and desire to relax. And you will know that any time in the future that you wish to relax deeply, you will be able to do so. Now you know and understand the meaning and feeling of relaxation, and you will look forward to it again and again. 10. Starting the walk back down the stairway. So very gently and slowly, you're in no hurry. 9. Coming down slowly. You're so very comfortable and relaxed. 8. Enjoying every moment of your trip and feeling the heightened awareness of your mind, the exhilarating sense of total and complete relaxation. 7. Coming down slowly. On the count of 1, you will be wide awake. 6. Coming down. 5. You've enjoyed this experience so very much. 4. Such a wonderful, wonderful feeling. 3. The feeling of relaxation will stay with you. 2. Coming down slowly, slowly. 1. You feel renewed life forces flowing through your body. You're waking up. You can and you will open your eyes all the way down now and wide awake. Wide awake. Wonderful feeling and wide awake. Now would be a good time to analyze your thoughts on the item you're holding. If you have paper and pencil ready, write down what you saw. All the items belong to someone else. See how close your visions were to the owner's experiences and memories. Well, that's just about it. We hope you've had a great time and have had exceptionally good results with your experiment in psychometry. We would like to hear about your results. Please write to me using the address shown. And we hope that we have touched your life in a positive way. Thanks for letting us be a part of your life today. Feel free to share this program. If you would like a DVD, we will send you one for $25, payable to my PayPal account at the email at pete.jefferson@comcast.net. Tell us where you'd like it sent. It's also, if you feel this has been of value to you, we will accept donations of any size paid to our PayPal account.